Welcome to Coffee and RPGs. My name is Solomon S. Kane. Thank you for tuning in for another episode of MMO and RPG News Roundup. I just hit 150 subscribers on YouTube, and I just wanted to say thank you so much for your guys' support. It really does mean a lot to me. I made it my goal to try to get to 200 subscribers by the end of July. And to those of you who are new to the channel, I hope I could earn your subscription today. But we got a lot of news to cover, so if you guys got your beverage of choice, let's cover the news together. Cheers to you guys. The first bits of news that we will be covering comes from Gematsu.com, and I just wanted to talk about some of the most popular JRPGs that have been announced so far this week, especially now that the New Game Plus Expo was streamed about a few days ago, if I'm not mistaken. And the first game I wanted to talk about is Ys 9 Monstrum Nox, coming to the West for the PlayStation 4, Switch, and PC in 2021. Now, Ys is a franchise that actually has been around for a very long time, just as long as Final Fantasy, and it's not as well known or as popular as Final Fantasy. Matter of fact, I would argue Final Fantasy has modernized a bit better than Ys has over the years, but they're both really fun games. They're both great JRPGs. And it does go on to read that there is a pre-order available for $100 of a limited edition that will be available in the NIS America store online. And what's really cool these days is that fans over in the Western Shores would have to wait years for a Japanese port of a game, but these days the turnaround is actually really quick. Ys 9 Monstrum Nox first launched for the PlayStation 4 September in 2019 in Japan. If you'd like, you could definitely head on over to their Steam page for more information. They do have the tags JRPG, Action, Action RPG, RPG, and Story Rich as well. The next title I wanted to cover is Shiren the Wanderer, the Tower of Fortune, and the Dice of Fate Plus, coming to the West for Switch and PC in 2020. And my goodness, that is a very long name. But yeah, Dungeon RPG Shiren the Wanderer, the Tower of Fortune, and the Dice of Fate Plus, which was first announced for a Switch in March in Japan, will launch for the Switch and PC via Steam in North America and Europe in 2020. Publisher Spike Chunsoft announced during the New Game Plus Expo live stream. And as always, I will have the trailer playing above me or over me, but probably just above me, because if you didn't know, a lot of Japanese gaming companies out there love to, or I wouldn't say they all love to, but more often than not, if I play it at full screen, they will copyright claim my video. So one of the things that they have listed as a key feature is gorgeous retro graphics, and just looking at this, it looks pretty dang amazing, just because it speaks to my childhood and the type of games that I grew up with. So that fact alone makes me want to play this game as soon as it comes out. The next JRPG I wanted to cover is called Fallen Legion Revenants, which is announced for the PlayStation 4 and Switch. It would have been better if it came out for the PC, but this game looks really interesting. As you can see that I got the trailer playing, and it kind of looks like some sort of turn-based strategy, but there's like different bars that you see on the ground. I don't know if that has any meaning, but there does seem to be some sort of strategy behind how you battle other players and enemies depending on where you are. So it does go on to read that publisher NIS America and developer Yummy Yummy Tummy, yeah, that's an actual name of a company, Yummy Yummy Tummy, announced Fallen Legion Revenants for the PlayStation 4 and Switch during the New Game Plus Expo live stream. And as always, there is a limited edition pre-order available for $75. I admittedly have never seen a gameplay or a combat system like this before. I have played turn-based RPGs before, but they never really were able to move outside of their little square boxes. They're very static, and this one kind of seems to be that, but the characters are free-flowing and being able to move around and into each other's boxes. And I'm not exactly sure what they call this, but that reason alone makes me very interested. And the last game from Gematsu.com that I wanted to talk about is called Bladed Fury, coming to the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Switch this fall. And this is technically not a JRPG. I believe this is being made by a Chinese company, but they all still have that JRPG elements and aesthetics, considering It's very, I don't know, Asian, I guess you could say. But it does go on to read that Bladed Fury is a classic 2D action game based on Chinese mythology with an accompanying traditional art style and sound design, but with a dash of surrealism added to the mix. Next, we will be going over the articles from allchar.com. First one, New World Dev dives into progression system and crafting. And I do apologize, it's cut out from the right there. But it does go on to read that the New World, and upcoming MMO by Amazon Game Studios, is drawing closer to launch, so the dev went ahead and explained the in-game progression and crafting systems. So New World features 5 intertwining progression system. First one, where you level up your attributes. These are strength, dexterity, intelligence, focus, and constitution. And you can think of these as sort of your special stats from Fallout 4. The second progression system is tied to weaponry, where the more you use a weapon, the better you get at it. Third one will be trade skill, and it's all about your favorite activities. In short, the more blacksmithing you do, the better you get at it. Fourth system is territory standing, which rewards players for simply playing in a territory. The bonuses range from XP and reduced fee for housing. Last but not least is the faction, which is quite important in New World and grants you access to really cool faction gear you wouldn't be able to get otherwise. You know, after reading all that, it's still pretty much your run-of-the-mill MMO, in my opinion. Nothing new, nothing game-changing, but that doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing, in my opinion. To do so otherwise would make it probably less of an RPG, but at the end of the day, it's really about how well they implement these progression systems. And in kind of MMO and RPG news, Cyberpunk 2077 getting its own comic by Dark Horse. And this is really exciting to me, just because I'm not a huge comic fan. I do love comic books though. As you can see, I got a lot of them posted here on my wall. But it does go on to read, if you are still reeling from the news of Cyberpunk 2077's latest delay, then Dark Horse may have a solution, as they're publishing a Cyberpunk 2077 comic in September. The exact date is September 9th, 2020. Rather than focusing on the in-game events, Cyberpunk 2077 Trauma Team Number 1, as the comic is officially named, revolves around the most powerful corporations in the CP77 universe, the Trauma Team International. If you're not familiar with them, the Trauma Team International is a corporation that deals in rapid response medical services. As you could deduce from the images, they're not just paramedics, and their understanding of the Hippocratic Oath is liberal at best. And I thought that was actually a really clever way of putting it. As you can see here, they do look like medics, but most medics don't carry guns, if any. Now moving on to all the articles from PCGamer.com. Rogue Legacy 2 is coming to early access in July. Developer Cedar Door Games dropped a new trailer today announcing that the game will launch into early access on Steam and Epic Games Store on July 23rd. Wow, both at the same time? Why isn't it a Epic Games exclusive? I know that was a huge thing back then, maybe it still is. And this next article, I will admit, is a little weird, even for my tastes. I'm not a huge fan of surrealism, I think that's what they call it. But anyways, I got the trailer playing above me, and yeah, it's... anyways, Absurdist RPG Hylics 2 will be out tomorrow. Here's a weird trailer, and weird trailer is an understatement, as you can see. Hylics was a surreal RPG by Mason Lindroth, as much as an art gallery as a video game. The latest trailer is a weird as you expect from a game where you can play a moon-faced golem who engages in Earthbound-esque RPG battles with attacks called Soul Crisper, Fate Sandbox, and Lemonade, and you can apparently damage somebody by eating a banana at them in a breathing manner. So yeah, I mean, if you're into that kind of stuff, you get no judgment from me, you know, everybody has different tastes, but this game, I mean, I might play it just to see what's up, but I really don't think it's something that I could really get into. It kind of makes me cringe, to be honest with you. But this next one is something that I know a lot of my friends are going to be very happy about. Bloodstained Cursed of the Moon is getting a sequel. Bloodstained Ritual of the Night was one of the most successful video game Kickstarters of all time. So successful, in fact, that it raised enough money to fund a prequel minigame, which was released in 2018 as Bloodstained Curse of the Moon. During today's New Game Plus Expo livestream, producer Koji Igarashi announced that Bloodstained Curse of the Moon 2 is now in development. Like its predecessor, the new game will feature a dark 8-bit aesthetic and will tell an all-new story about Zangetsu, a swordsman from the Far East who bears a powerful dislike for demons and the alchemists who summon them. Zangetsu can ally himself with a brand new cast of characters he meets along the way and add them to the playable roster. Each new character adds a variety of gameplay options, abilities, and ways to complete the game's many stages. Zangetsu, for example, is a tough guy with the fastest attack speed, making him a strong, straightforward character, while Dominique is a mysterious exorcist affiliated with the church who can revive and heal allies. Next, we head on over to MMOculture.com. First one being TERA Endless War. Brief look at the new mobile SLG title with 20 VIP levels. I'm not really going to cover a whole lot other than this last part here. 20 VIP levels, hero gacha mechanics, paying to speed up constructions, and many more. In all honesty, it's not even fun. TERA Endless War is an atrocity in the current age of mobile games, and it is a pity that Krafton allowed this to even happen. I don't see how things will be better with all the pay-to-win mechanics already baked into TERA Endless War, but it says do try it out, but I think he meant don't try it out. I don't know. Next, Mabinogi Mobile. Nexon announces new studio to continue games development. Mabinogi Mobile was first announced in late 2017, but since G-Star 2018, details about the highly anticipated game have been scarce. Nexon revealed today that it plans to establish 2 joint ventures with Wonder Holdings. Both companies will have a 50% take each in the new joint ventures, which will dedicate to further developing Mabinogi Mobile and Kartrider Drift. Now moving on to MassivelyOP.com, Mortal Online 2 shows off the city of Kranesh in a recent video, and it goes on to describe that it's located near the Talos Mountains in a hidden ravine. The city of Kranesh is messy and dangerous as it's home to outlaws and bandits who refuse to obey the Tindremic Empire's law, and I kind of didn't really get that sort of feeling when I was watching the trailer. As you can see, it's panning. You have all these panning shots of the city, and it's very vibrant. It's very gorgeous looking, but it doesn't really look run down. It doesn't look like a place where a lot of bandits and people who commit crimes gather together. It actually looks like a really cool town, to be honest with you. So I'm not exactly sure what they're going with this, but it does look like a really cool city at the end of the day. Next, Celestial Knights returns to Final Fantasy XI on June 30th. Who wants swimsuits in Final Fantasy XI? That's what you'll be getting when the Celestial Knights event rolls around once again on June 30th. Next article, APB Reloaded is changing gun rentals, getting rid of loot boxes, and hosting an open beta of its new engine. And I'm guessing that they're doing this just because I believe Europe passed a law banning loot boxes or something like that. I'm not exactly sure on the details, but the loot box is soon to be officially dead in APB Reloaded. According to a recent dev blog, Joker mystery boxes are being removed and legendary weapons will be available to rent or obtain with Joker tickets. This exchange holds hands with the adjustments to rentals from the Joker store, which makes legendary weapons available for a period of 7 days. Players who rent from the store repeatedly could get a 5% chance to have a rented gun become a permanent unlock. But if you don't get lucky and get that 5% chance, it takes roughly 20 rentals to get a full unlock. And that to me still kind of sounds like an RNG mechanic. Not necessarily a loot box mechanic, but it's like you still have to spend money to rent these weapons. But yeah, I don't know. It just, something about it just seems still a little shady. Next article, Guild Wars 2's Dragon Bash is alive once again. Bring your own ale. Dragon Bash has today returned to Guild Wars 2 once more after its surprise reintroduction to the game last summer, before which it hadn't seen since 2013. I actually do remember this event when the game first came out, and there was a lot of mini games that I had to do in the capital city of the really tall people. I think they're called the Norn. Man, it hasn't been that long, has it? But anyways, it does go on to read that it looks like there's new content this year, including a new race, like a new actual race, not people race, new meta achievement reward, new home instance node, and new holo weapons, as well as new guild decorations. And the next bits of news will be coming from MMORPG.com. World of Warship Legends receives Warhammer 40,000 content. And this is really cool. I really like it when two different IPs come together and they do a mix-up of sorts. For example, you have Final Fantasy XIV with the Nier franchise, and you also have Berserk anime and manga doing something with Black Desert Online, which was really cool. And it does go on to read that you'll be able to choose between two different bundles containing themed ship skins, commanders with unique voiceovers, camouflages, and flags from the two biggest factions in Warhammer 40,000 universe, called Imperium Man and Chaos as well. And lastly, as per the July 4th holidays in the US, a pair of American light cruisers are arriving in early access as well. And in the next article it reads, Dual Universe Kickstarter update, recaps Alpha 3.1 and more. The latest Dual Universe Kickstarter update discusses Alpha 3.1 and the global wipe. The team notes that despite the current global sickness that, I'll put it that way, and working from home, beta is still planned for this summer. To that end, as part of the wipe, here's what's been reset, and just to name a few: reset of the planet landscapes and ore veins, reset to player coordinates, and a global wipe to all the constructs in-game during Alpha 3.0 and before. And in the next article, Crab Hunt live in TERA until June 30th. Looks like crabs have taken over the shores of Oscareth in preparation of some sort of attack. It's up to you to stop them from this impending attack. Crabs will show up both high tide and low tide, and the times for these tides as follows. And for the PC version, it will be from 4 o'clock to 7 o'clock UTC and 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock UTC. I don't know what time that is for Pacific or Eastern daylight times for those of us who are living in the US, so there is a calculator for that if you look on Google. And as always for this event, you could collect materials, and turning them in will allow you to receive a head shrimp kit. I think that's some sort of cosmetic item that's in the shape of a helmet of a shrimp. I don't know. And the last thing we'll cover today is the New World announcing a limited edition steelbook edition. So if you're very hyped about this game, this is something that you could pre-order from Amazon's website. The steelbook edition will come with a Steam code for the digital deluxe version of the New World, to be delivered via email instead of included in the case. This lets players have access to the New World immediately on launch day, as soon as servers go live. Like other pre-orders, the Steelbook Edition will also give players access to the closed beta that was recently announced for July 23rd. And that concludes today's episode of MMO and RPG News Roundup. If you made it with me so far, I do appreciate it because the watch time does help with the algorithms. And if you feel as though I earned your subscription, please consider hitting the subscribe button as well as the bell notification, as those two also help the channel a lot. Thank you again for allowing me to get up to where I am today at 150 subscribers. I really hope to be able to make more videos for you guys, as well as to be able to make a living off of this. That would be a dream of mine. But in any event, I hope you guys have a wonderful night. Have a blessed night, and I will see you guys next time. Cheers again, everyone.